Throughout history, there have been many franchises and IPs that have been built throughout the years. Some of them are well known, and some are not as well known. And some are so obscure, recognition of these franchises is almost absolutely guaranteed to never exist. In this new series of essays, Obscure IPs Club, these franchises will be the subject of full exploration, explanation, and discussion. And hopefully by the time I'm done, these franchises just might become a little more publicized, maybe for the better. But before I get started with the first video, I'll lay down one major ground rule so you can know what to expect from this series. Basically, simply being obscure isn't gonna cut it. In order to qualify for being on this list, the IP must be known by an exceptionally low quantity of people, so low that in fact, to the people who know about it, it should feel like nobody else but themselves know about the IP. This means that cult classics like Silhouette Mirage, Guitar Man, and even Monster Tale are allowed. At first, this rule seems like it'll hinder development of the series rather than help it, but there are a few IPs I know about that adhere to the standard. However, I'm still not confident about that, so I can't say anything about the lifespan of the series, but I have what I have. Anyway, without out of the way, let's get cracking. So, which franchise will we cover today? In this video, I'll start off with a webcomic that I think deserves quite a bit more recognition, Silent Kimbly, created by Ryan Sias. While not my most favorite franchise of all time, it has a few good points, so I decided to put it in the spotlight today. First, some context. When I was a kid, I used to frequent a site called FunBrain, which was run by Pearson Education. On FunBrain, you can do a lot of stuff. You can play mini games, embark on an arcade campaign, play Pop Tropica, which I'm fairly confident everyone knows about, and read comics. It is here where I was first introduced to Silent Kimbly. So, what is Silent Kimbly and why does the comic have that name? Well, Silent Kimbly derives its name from the term Silent K, which is a grammatical term that refers to words that contain the letter K, but said letter isn't pronounced in the word itself. For instance, the word knee or knock. This term is combined with the name Kimbly, making a play on words, in other words, a pun. And that's what Silent Kimbly is. The comic is completely centered on wordplay and puns. Each strip contains one pun and depicts the strip's characters in a scenario related to that pun. Oftentimes, these puns will be manifesting in the comic as real-world objects. For example, this is what a food court will look like in Silent Kimbly's world. For being a comic that only has one panel per strip, Silent Kimbly has quite a few characters. I myself am not a complete fan of the comic's premise or some of the puns, given how they're sort of childish. But to me, some of the character designs are Silent Kimbly's shining point and are probably the part of the comic I have the most interest in. There used to be characters descriptions of the 2017 site, but the site's gone now, so I guess I'll just have to explain everything from memory, keeping things simple and quick. The main protagonist of Silent Kimbly is, well, Kimbly. She's your typical upbeat protagonist and is the main character of this comic. If Kimbly is SpongeBob, tenderness is Patrick. He possesses a lot of soft characteristics in terms of more than just his appearance and name. Kimbly is also accompanied by a springy-tailed creature called Banks, who is pretty energetic, somewhat hyper even. Aside from being Kimbly's excited pet, however, there's really not much to say about Banks. Cruelness is essentially the plankton of Silent Kimbly, In fact, he's your typical maniacal antagonist. I mean, look at this guy. How can you not say that he's like Plankton? He's even got a tendency in unconventional eyes and expressions. Basically, the cool and tough guy, like Knuckles. If I'm Miss Ferguson, who I never really remember from reading Silent Kimbly on Fun Brain. Basically, he's an essential goofball, and I think it's best we forget about him. If these characters go through their life with a webcomic encountering various real-world puns, like who could forget the surprise fire drill, and what about that time they had a tie game, and what about the time they met a punk rocker, and remember when Kimbly had to change her mind? Okay, that was actually sort of realistic, get past that one. Remember the one with the soap opera, and how about Kimbly's pen pals? You get the picture. In short, the characters encounter real-world puns, which is basically the general summary of Silent Kimbly. The comic itself was made by a man called Ryan Sias. Ryan isn't too well known, but spends his time illustrating and making books for kids. He has also storyboarded for various shows, some more well-known ones. When Silent Kimbly was first created, it was black and white and had a considerable bit more attitude and rockiness to it, as opposed to layer strips, which were more soft and felt like a children's book. It could deserve its own YouTube video, really. Oh, and the comic also has legendary facial expressions, like some of these facial expressions are pure meme material. Now that we've explored this world of wordplay, I'd like to do something a little interesting. Since we got the basic information about the comic out of the way, I think now would be a good time to showcase some more Silent Kimbly strips. I'll be using the wayback machine to travel to a time with a site where the comic was still up and running and take a gander at some of his strips. Basically, even though the site for Silent Kimbly is defunct, the archives of the site are still available on the wayback machine. As of right now, I'm about to explore what used to be the site for Silent Kimbly. If I recall correctly, over 400 strips have been made, so who knows, maybe we'll actually find a Silent Kimbly strip that tops the ones I've shown you so far. So here we go. Okay, so we're here at Silent Kimbly's site, and as you can see, there's a lot of recorded websites here. The most notable being here in 2012, which means we have a lot of years to choose from. And since there's a big pointy thing in here, I think we'll go here first. So we're at January 2012, and over here we have Ryan Sia's board book, which is, like I said, he makes children's books, so this isn't too much of a surprise. And here we have a Kimbly blog, and right here we have someone's Kimbly cosplay. Yukiko as Kimbly as a Halloween party. Obviously, it would be really cool if someone would cosplay as Kimbly as something like Unicorn. Also, some of these costumes are surprisingly edgy, which means that Kimbly here is a welcome addition. Also, Kimbly in real life, wow. Guys, there are clearly a lot of Silent Kimbly comics here. We have a lot of comics here. Look at all of these comics. 2010, 2009, 2008. Look at all these comics, wow! Like I said, by over 400 comics, which is incredible. So let's just go to August the 22nd, which is my birthday, and of course there's no August 22nd, but let's go to August 20 anyway. Why is there no picture? There's no picture. Load image. Drat. So we skipped all the way to January 2007, and we have some GIF animations here, and we have some dude's pain in the neck. He seems really pissed off. Also, that head is far too human. Wow. Help me show the little Kimbly use these buttons and link to Kimbly. Well, I'm already showing the little Kimbly, and I don't even need to use these buttons. LMAO. So I skipped all the way to September 11, 2007. It is apparently Kimbly fan art by MEC. And if we look at it, we see Kimbly in some sort of bathing suit, which is, I'm sure some people on the internet will take advantage of that. So let's go look for that ballroom thing, as I tried to show you earlier. So I went to that ballroom page and it still isn't loading. But if you scroll down, it's a GIF. Also, we have lots of people's links. They may or may not be active on the internet anymore, but if you see them on the internet, tell them that Silent Kimbly will rise once again. So we're here at November 2005, and this is where Silent Kimbly first appeared. It might even have appeared before them, but this is where it first appeared. So let's go over here and crap, I'm teleporting into the future. Abort, abort. Yeah, I definitely teleported into the future. So I think that a lot of images in these captures are basically they're not loading. I think that the Wayback Machine just forgot to archive them, which is a bummer really, because Silent Kimbly is a good webcomic. So let's go back to the video. Now that that's open, allow me to explain how I got back into Silent Kimbly and what lies in the comic's future. I was very interested in Silent Kimbly when I first encountered it due to the interesting character design. Although I wasn't a fan of the comic to the point of constantly obsessing over it, I still took a great deal of interest in the comic and its characters. In 2017, I took the plunge and decided to revisit Silent Kimbly once again. However, this is where things had taken a somewhat depressing turn of events. When I revisited the site in 2017, it had lots of images that were either missing or low quality, and some blog entries had been typed in by hackers. While gazing upon the carnage, I took careful measures to archive all the pictures of the characters, which is how I was able to show them in this video. A while later, the site for the comic was offline. However, this isn't exactly the end of Silent Kimbly's story. Well, sort of. Sias has been trying to pitch Silent Kimbly as a cartoon, but nothing has really come to fruition, as nobody's even looked his way yet. He also once attempted to pitch a show about Ferguson to channel Frederator, but you didn't hear that from me. Ryan seems to want to turn Silent Kimbly into something big, and once tried to take the comic's roster characters and put them in a story-based webcomic called Kimbly Chronicles, which I have been able to view in black and white on one of Ryan's blogs and then color on his actual site. In fact, characters other than the main six even appear exclusively in this new comic. Finally, Silent Kimbly also has its own graphic novel. Like Kimbly Chronicles, the novel also seems to be story-based, and according to the description, is a mixture of sci-fi and silent films. Unless I'm wrong, Lulu.com, the website that sells the novels, princess books when people order them. So if you want to read for yourself, just Google these search terms, which will take you directly to the site. Just be sure not to click on the German page for the novel, as I doubt trying to buy something from a non-English page will end well. Alternatively, you can use the link in the video's description. In conclusion, Silent Kimbly isn't my most favorite webcomic given all the kid-oriented puns and stuff, but the comic definitely deserved better as it was far too obscure for its own good. The character design is decent as well, and I could see these characters going places if given a second chance. If you're watching this video, I'd appreciate if you give Silent Kimbly some much needed attention. Perhaps you could draw fan art of the characters, create fan content for the comic, or even hook Ryan up with a contact that could help him get into the big leagues. Even simply showing this video to a friend would very much be appreciated. Nobody knows what lies in Silent Kimbly's future. Maybe Ryan really will manage to pull a Silent Kimbly cartoon off, or maybe the site will be reborn, almost like a phoenix. But in the meantime, let's enjoy Silent Kimbly for the comic that is a pun-filled extravaganza with a colorful cast of characters. This was a video attempting to bring an obscure webcomic into the spotlight. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe together we can take this comic to new heights.